Yes, fit for a queen anywhere in the world.
Mahalagang paalala, ang MX3 capsule ay hindi gamot at hindi dapat gamiting panggamot sa anumang uri ng sakit.
Para sa damit na ka-bloom sa bango, subukan ang Charm Fabric Conditioner.
Charm Fat Corn, bangong kumaka-bloom. Charm Fat Corn, damit ay may bango ng salibong bulaklak.
Charm Fabric Conditioner with Stay Fresh Technology. Damit ay ka-bloom sa bango.
Charm Fat Corn, bangong kumaka-bloom. Charm Fat Corn, damit ay may bango ng salibong bulaklak.
Charm Fabric Conditioner. Manufactured by ACS Manufacturing Corporation. ISO certified. World-class quality.
ACS.
Lumipas at magbago ang panahon. Iisa at nakatatak ang kauna-unahang himpilan sa paghahatid ng serbisyo publiko at balita. Ito ang Radio Mindanao Networks. Higit 6 na dekada sa paglilingkod sa masang Pilipino. Sa Metro Manila, ito ang DZXL 558 Radyo Trabaho, ang inyong gabay sa hanap buhay. Ang mga susunod na opinyon at komentaryo ng programang Sapagkat Mahal Kita ay sariling paninindigan at saloobin ng program anchor at hindi kumakatawan sa posisyon ng DZXL RMN Manila. Sapagkat Mahal Kita. Mahal Kita. Filipinos in America, kumusta na sila? Ano ang kanilang istorya?
Yeah, naririnig kayo, Congress woman dito sa New York area. Can you hear our audio?
Naririnig ko po kayo.
Dinggin ng boses, pananaw, saloobin ng mga kababayan natin nasa ibang bansa sa iba't ibang issue sa kanilang pinakamamahal na bayang Pilipinas.
Saan kukuha ng ikabubuhay ang mga mahihirap na ito?
Sapagkat mahal kita, kasama batikang radio broadcaster na si Don Lino Celle mula sa Amerika at co-host na si Lourdes Escaros. Maririnig ng live sa WRMN New York, USA at worldwide sa pamamagitan ng Facebook at sa YouTube. RMN News Nationwide, the sound of the nation. Sapagkat mahal kita. Sapagkat mahal kita. Tuwing linggo, alas 10 hanggang alas 11 ng umaga dito sa Himpilang Extra Large sa komentaryo DZXL 558.
Magandang umaga, Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao. Sa ngalan ni Lourdes Escaros, ako po si Rambo Labay, makakasama nyo. At nasa kabilang linya na si Don Lino Celle, dito po sa Sapagkat Mahal Kita. Don Lino, magandang umaga dito sa Pilipinas.
Good morning sa Metro Manila, Rambo Labay at sa lahat ng nakikinig. To all our listeners right here in Metropolitan New York and worldwide. And Rambo.
Yes, Don Lino.
Ang pinakamalalaking balita rito ay itong pagkakadupilas ng Pangulo ng Amerika sa pagpanik sa Air Force One kahapon, because yesterday was Friday here in the United States, okay? And that was 2 o'clock in the morning ng Sabado nyo riyan, okay? Ang problema rito, Rambo, ang mga fake news, ang mga mainstream media, they're trying to, you know, patch it up. Hindi nila kino-cover. Hanggang nabuisit yung isang ginagalang ditong commentator na si Hannity, ibinulas-las niya. Alam mo ba na ang WRMN, ang isa sa nakakuha, were able to obtain a snapshot of how President Biden stumbled all the way up to the Air Force. It wasn't a trip na isa lang, hindi. 3 beses. Kaya, if you want to see it, kung gusto nyo makita lahat, yung 3 larawan, na ipinaskel ng WRMN Radio 92.1 sa Don Lino Celle sa Facebook. Puntahan nyo. Makikita nyo ron. Pati yung istorya. Okay? In fact, nakakaawa Rambo, dahil matanda na si Kalansay Biden, ang Pangulo ng Amerika. At talagang fragile siya, you know. Hindi ko malaman kung bakit nung nahulog siya, nasa saan yung Secret Service? Nag-iisa siyang pumanik doon sa eroplano, makatapos siyang saluduhan nung naghahatid sa kanya lagi, sa mga Pangulo yun, kahit kay former President Trump, yun din ang naghahatid. Nandun lang siya sa ibaba ng baitang, napakataas ng 747, you know? Kaya yung pagpanik niya, unang dulasyon, that was the first one. Yung pangalawa, nahulog uli. Tapos yung pangatlo, wala na. Nagbakil na yung kanyang kanang paa at kaliwa, pumulupot. So ina-analyze nila, is there something physically wrong with this guy? Makatatapos ba ito ng 4 na taon na paglilingkod? Will he finish the term? And that was a fair observation. Dahil Pangulo ka ng pinakamakapangyarihang bansa, pinakamayamang bansa sa buong daigdig. Walang makakakontest nun. I always say that. Wala Nagiging makalimutin na, kaya sinasabi, may dementia to.
Nako.
He has a dementia.
Nako. Pwede pa bang mag-leader yan? Merong ganong pag-isip?
Ano tawag doon? Ulyanin?
Ulyanin sa atin. Makalimutin. Ulyanin na dito sa
Yeah,
sa
maririnig nyo ngayon because I have the clippings.
Delikado yung ganyang klase, Lino. May pwede pa bang
Rambo,
mamuno yan?
Itong mga mainstream American media, ipinupush yung kanyang presidency. Kung paano nila winasak si Trump, na maganda naging performance, how they destroyed former President Trump, this is what they're doing to this president. They're trying to, present him to the public as a great president. Where is the great? I don't think he even understands what he's talking about pagka nagsasalita. Maririnig niyo mamaya. Ngayon, pakinggan natin ito doon sa mismong pangyayari sa analysis ng roundtable ng mga mahuhusay na mga ginagalang na commentators dito. One of them is Hannity. Hold on. Ready na yung clip.
First, we begin with a fair and an honest look at the President of the United States. Earlier today, while boarding Air Force One, he fell not once, not twice, but 3 times all the way to the ground as his leg appeared to give out. Now, we do not show you this to make fun of Joe Biden or to have a good laugh at his expense. Frankly, at this point, it's getting difficult to watch. But also at this point, after months of constant, never-ending, nonstop gaffes, very weird cognitive struggles, I think it is well past time that we get a little transparency surrounding his health and his well-being.
Leon, maliwanag. Kumbaga sa Tagalog,
3 beses bumagsak. Laglag.
3 beses bumagsak, Rambo.
Hindi biro yan.
3 times.
Hindi biro yan, Don Lino. Kung isa lang sana, okay lang. Pagbigyan natin. Yung 3 beses, something wrong na yan, Don Lino.
3. He tried.
Hindi biro yan.
He tried to go upstairs. For the second time, he fell again. And then the third one, dun nga, nagbakil na yung kanyang paa.
Nako.
So he doesn't have any control.
Nako po.
I think, in my own observation, may problema siya sa kanyang motor, yung muscle.
Oo, yung buto.
You know,
Yung buto.
I think,
Yung muscle.
yeah, yung buto niya, yung the bones.
Mahina na, Don Lino. Mahina na yung buto ni
Mahina na, brittle
Joe
na
Biden.
At,
dapat magpahinga na siya. Magpahinga na siya dapat,
that's what
Don
they're
Lino.
talking about here.
Oo,
Whether
dapat magpahinga.
makakatapos ito
Huwag
ng
na.
4 na taon.
Malabo yan.
Ako, I don't wish him bad luck, but
Pero,
I do not think he will finish his term.
Sa kwento mo, malabo, Don Lino.
Nakakawa talaga. You know, I mean, you know, this was right after lunch, you know, kahapon, Biyernes dito, sa Amerika. Metropolitan New York, nandun sila sa Joint Andrews Base na military, ano yun. Doon lumilipad ang Air Force One. Nakita ko siya, naglalakad siyang ganyan. Doon sa isang closed circuit, you know. Kumakaway-kaway siyang ganyan. Ngumingiti pa nga eh. Sabi ko, saan kaya pupunta? Pupunta pala sa Georgia, USA.
Aba.
At ang pupuntahan niya ron, yung komunidad ng mga Asyano. Gawa ng there was a shooting incident earlier this week, and there were 6 Asians. And I'm pretty sure walang nadali na Filipino. And I wish na yung mga ibang lahi hindi nadali, pero 6 ang natepok.
Nako.
Sa beauty parlor. Mga Asyano, pinagbabaril lahat dun sa beauty salon at saka dun sa massage parlor. Nahuli yung yung namaril. Ang lumalabas, may racism. Kaya ang China ngayon nagkakainitan na ngayon with the United States. Maririnig nyo rin yung mga inire-report na nagpangayan ang Chief of Staff at saka yung pinuno ng Politburo ng China. Hindi maganda itong nangyayaring ito. You know, I said it for almost 2 weeks dito sa Sapagkat Mahal Kita, Pilipinas, that there is something wrong here. Miski si Biden ngayon nabubuksan na isip niya eh. You know, he's thinking that why is he doing this, si Jinping? He wants to invade the entire planet. At dinidiktahan ng Amerika. No. That's where we say, that's a no-no. Hindi po pwede yun. You know? Anyway, narito yung alibay ng mga media at saka ng White House. Sinasabi malakas lang ang hangin. The wind was so strong, you know? So, the president stumbled. How stupid. That was a beautiful day yesterday. It was 10 miles an hour right over there. Miski rito sa Metropolitan New York. Paano hahanginin yun? Sana kung 50 miles an hour, baka lumipad siya ron sa mataas pa sa Air Force One. But no. You know, this is stupid mainstream American media and whoever are the stupid people in the White House, they're trying to, you know, patch it up. Pinapopogi, kumbaga dyan. Kaya, pinagtatawanan ng Russian na pinuno na si Vladimir Putin itong si Biden. Sinasabi, wag na lang muna tayo magdebate. I hope you feel well. Si Jinping, nagpadala na rin ng ano nangyari sa'yo? This is the Commander-in-Chief of the United States. Nakitang ganon? Pagulong-gulong dun sa pagpanik sa Air Force One? May tinamaan ng hudas, you know? Anyway, let's hear this.
Making the claim that the watching this, and that Biden fell was because of all the wind. The wind blew him over. Is that their excuse? After all, there was a light breeze at Joint Base Andrews today. You got to almost feel sorry for Joe Biden. Now, this is a national security issue, making an observation that Joe Biden is, in fact, weak and frail, and he's struggling cognitively. Guess what? More than half the country agrees with me.
Tomorrow is Superstars Tuesday, and I want to thank you all.
Ito nagsasalita na ito,
Nako.
si Biden na to, itong party na ito, no ha?
Oo.
Pakinggan nyo kung paano walang kabuluhan yung sinasabi niya na matandang ulyanin, he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Hold on.
I tell you what, I'm rushing ahead, aren't I? We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by the you know the thing. You agree with me? Go to Joe 30330. We choose truth over fact. Play the radio. Make sure the television. Make sure you have the record player on at night. The phone. Make sure the kids.
Make sure you have the record player on at night. Let me think. When's the last time I put a record player on at night and raise what are real questions about Joe Biden's fitness for the office of the presidency of the United States, which is the hardest job in the world? What is going on with Biden? Will he survive? Is he going to be able to finish 4 years?
When I became vice president, I'd leave that alone, guys. Okay? Tell them not to move that. All right? I'm having troubles here. Okay? Economic polling initiatives. Now, am I supposed to speak, or is Swati going to say something? Going this way. Thank you all. And for God's sake.
And he leaves the podium, shakes hands without a mask. Biden also frequently forgets important names, like his defense secretary's name and dates and where they work.
Nako, makalimutin na.
Narinig mo, Rambo.
Nakalimutan na. Makalimutin na, Don Lino.
You know, the thing.
Diyos ko po.
Tapos,
Oo.
nanginginig siya, hindi niya malaman.
Nanginginig. Pati pangalan, nakalimutan na.
Yung optic,
Oo.
meron pa siyang hinuhugot na papel dito dahil hindi niya matandaan yung
Nako.
mga sasabihin niya. At pagka ini-introduce niya yung mga tao, including
Nako po.
his vice president, I saw it with my own eyes.
Nako.
Hindi niya alam kung vice president o senador.
Nako.
What kind of president
Parang
is this?
sa tingin ko,
Who's
hindi na.
handling his God-dogged statements and all those nonsense taxes and all this crisis na nangyayari ngayon dyan sa southern border?
Parang hindi na niya
Delikado
kaya.
ito.
Napakadelikado.
May nakahawak sa ulo nito.
Oh.
You know, somebody's holding his head. You know, I call them handlers. Whether they are in China, whether they're in Russia, I have no God-dogged idea, you know. Pero nakakaawa, Rambo.
Biruin mo, hindi na kaya?
Inuulit ko, doon sa mga nagnanais na makita yung actual na talagang pumilipit siya ng 3 beses, nando doon sa Don Lino Celle Facebook account. Hindi na kayo pwedeng sumali. You know, I already reached the maximum 5,000. No one can get in there unless may nag-quit. But anyway, but you can see it. Makikita nyo. You know, you're not restricted to read. Marami kayong informasyon na malalaman. Because we crusade on this. Kasi nga sa dami ng fake news, you know, Rambo, wala na tayong mapagkatiwalaan. Wala na. Associated Press. What the hell's the matter with them? Did they show the picture? No. Ang ipinakita lang nila, yung nasa tagiliran na may takip ng na parang dingding ng railing. So hindi nakikita nangyayari sa kanya, nakahawak siya ron. Pero ang dapat na nakunan, yung inilagay ng WRMN Radio Pinoy sa Don Lino Celle. Yun ang kitang-kita talaga. I was able to splurge it all over the Facebook, Twitter, and all that. Para malaman ng buong daigdig. Dahil kung kukonsintihin natin, itong mga fake news media, it's not a happy moment for everyone. You know? That ends. Hindi po pwede yun. You know, kaya narito, yung isang comment ng sa mga commentators si Miller, narito yung kanyang obserbasyon sa mga binigkas ni Hannity.
As you mentioned, Sean, it's a national security crisis because our adversaries around the world, Iran, Russia, Venezuela, China, they're watching this. They're looking at this. They're looking at the United States, its chief representative, the president of our country, who falls down not once, not twice, but 3 times going up a flight of stairs. And it's sad to watch. I take no pleasure in it. Just like you said, this isn't to be funny. This is extremely serious. By the way, I'll note, I've walked up and down those stairs many times. They're not slippery, Sean. The Air Force goes to great lengths to make sure those stairs are not slippery. There's a very carefully placed carpet that's a non-slip surface. And so to slip 3 times going up those flight of stairs, that's a pretty serious problem just from a pure health standpoint. And after he tripped boarding Air Force One, tripped as you not slippery.
Ang sinasabi nito si Miller, siya mismo madalas sumasakay doon because he once an official in the White House. So, kasama siya ni US President Trump. Yung anyang carpet na kulay pula, laging nililinis yun ng mga sundalo. Okay? It's not slippery. It's always dry.
Yun, hindi madulas yun.
Hindi ka pwedeng madulas doon.
Hindi madulas.
Bakit siya nadulas? Hindi naman umuulan.
Baka malambot na yung buto.
Hindi pwedeng dahilan yung hangin. So, it's just about right na for transparency because he's hired by the American public as the president, although half of America do not believe that he won. You know, there was a massive cheating. Hanggang ngayon may problema sila sa korte. So actually, ang issue ngayon dito yung kanyang katawan at saka yung pagiging demented nga sa utak.
Yung kalusugan niya, Don Lino. Yung kalusugan niya, ang problema.
Hindi niya maintindihan yung sinasabi niya.
Naku.
Sabi niya, you know the thing, kumbaga sa Tagalog, alam mo ba yung ganon,
hindi alam ko anong sasabihin.
Alam mo na ibig ko sabihin.
Oo, yung hindi alam, sasabihin. Yung bang hindi niya alam kung hindi naka-organize yung kanyang pag-iisip.
At hindi siya nagbibigay ng interview.
Nako.
And most of the time, para nalalaman nyo riyan, kapag siya magsasalita, like I think Wednesday or Tuesday, he wants to make a comment dun sa border na pumapasok ng mga illegal aliens na naman dun sa bahagi ng Mexico dahil sinabi nila ng mga Democrat, okay, you know, you can come in. So you can come in. Pumunta si Biden doon, nakita niya. Tama pala si Trump. Trump was right. It's a crisis. Ngayon gusto niya hintuin. Gusto niyang mag-comment. Alam mo ang ginawa nung mga tauhan niya? Hinugot yung microphone.
Nako. Ba't ganun?
Tinatratong bayoyo ito.
Grabe.
I'm saying it on the record.
At ganon.
Because everybody knows it. Narinig yung sinabi ni Hannity. Half of the United States will agree with me, sabi niya. Of course. Because alam namin we know what's going on. Most of the time, ang nagsasalita yung asawa. Anong kinalaman ng asawa? She's not a politician. She's a doctor of something. I don't know. At yung pa, pagka nga meron siyang ipinapakilala ng mga cabinet members and all that, pati miyembro ng Pentagon hindi niya kakilala. Eh di ulyanin.
Nako.
By delikado to. Kaya, ang sinasabi ngayon, this is a national security concern. National security concern ito.
Hindi biro yan, Don Lino.
Although, siyempre, hindi naman magpapabaya ang mga intelligence agencies here, in particular ang CIA and the US Pentagon.
NSA.
And CIA. Lahat ng intelligence agencies dito, they're ups and ups, Pero to have a president na ganun ng pagkilos, commander-in-chief, no good. No good. Now, maliwanag yan, ha? Pumunta kayo doon sa Facebook, try to look at it, at makatapos itong mga binabato ko sa inyo sa Pilipinas, meron kaming pag-uusapan dito ni Rambo Labay.
Oo.
Para makapag-prepara na si Rambo hanggang itinutuloy ko itong American News, Itong expose ni Philippine Senator Risa Hontiveros patukol sa mga, of course, may exception, corrupt Philippine immigration officers na ipinagbibili ang mga kababaihang Pilipina na mga OFWs ng 50,000 pesos per head. Yung mga tumutungo sa Syria at doon sa mga dangerous na mga area. This is according to Senator Risa Hontiveros. Pag-uusapan natin ito dahil ang daming reaction dito, Rambo. My goodness, But at any rate, alam mo ba na itong kainitan ng China and the United States, nagagalit ang China, they're pissed off kung bakit daw sa kabila ng sinasabi na ikino-condemn ni Biden yung mga nananakit ng mga Asyano, wala pa rin mangyari. Hanggang ano na lang, dak-dak na lang. You know what I'm saying?
Oo.
So narito yung issue na yan. Kaya pumunta si Biden doon sa Georgia, USA, na naganda hulog-hulog siya tuloy doon sa Air Force One. Narito.
Asian American leaders gathered in Atlanta on Thursday to demand justice for their community after a series of shootings which left 8 people, predominantly Asian women, dead. The shootings have brought a surge of hate crimes against Asian Americans back into the national spotlight. According to the Center for the Study of Hate and Extremism, documented hate crimes against Asian Americans have surged by 149% in the years since COVID-19 was first reported in China. Community activist Connie G says Asians are no longer staying silent about the violence they face.
That's our culture, not only Koreans, all Asian people. Even though they got some discriminated hate crimes, they not come up to speak. So that's the main problem. We should tell them, come out, talk.
Police say they are still investigating the motive of the shooter, who suggested a sex addiction led him to carry out Tuesday's violent rampage at 2 day spas and a massage parlor.
This is anti-Asian violence.
Nina Reddy of the National Asian Pacific American Women's Forum says it's no coincidence that the majority of his victims were Asian women.
There has been a history of fetishization, hypersexualization of Asian women in this country. Back to the Page Act in 1875, right? Hundreds of years of hypersexualization sexualizing the Asian body. So I do want to say that, like, regardless of the way that this comes out, like, this is definitely like a racial issue, and we're treating it like those things happen together. Sexual violence, racial violence against Asian women is something that's been happening for a long time.
Well, that's questionable, you know. I don't know what's going on in San Francisco, in New York. Pero karamihan sa kanila, Rambo, and to all our listeners, you know, predominantly Filipinos, most of them and all of them are Chinese. Sila ang tinatarget ng mga nagagalit. First, sila ang pinagbibintangan dun sa nangyari sa Wuhan Laboratory sa COVID. You see? Kaya kumalat ang COVID dahil sa kanila. Kaya yun ang argument ng Politburo ng China against sa mga tauhan ni Biden. Nagharap eh. Nagkaroon yata ng hindi magandang salitaan. I think that was in Alaska or someplace. Kaya hindi natin alam ngayon ang timpla, ang temperatura ng United States with China, and it reciprocates. They're pissed off too. You know? Pakinggan natin ito, Rambo.
In a two-day meeting in Anchorage, Alaska, with a list of grievances.
We'll also discuss our deep concerns with actions by China, including in Xinjiang, Hong Kong, Taiwan, cyber attacks on the United States, economic coercion toward our allies. Each of these actions threaten the rules-based order that maintains global stability. That's why they're not merely internal matters, and why we feel an obligation to raise these issues here today.
After that, the gloves were firmly off. China's top diplomat, Yang Jiechi, fired back with a 15-minute speech in Chinese, lashing out about what he said was the United States' struggling democracy and poor treatment of minorities, including the, quote, slaughtering of African Americans. Usually opening statements last just a few minutes, but these went on for more than an hour in front of the world's media. Yang said the U.S. was in no position to judge.
Xinjiang, Tibet, and Taiwan are all inseparable pieces of Chinese territory. We are firmly opposed to the U.S. interfering in China's internal affairs. We express firm opposition to the U.S. actions of interfering in China's internal affairs, and we will make resolute responses to these.
State Councillor Wang Yi also chimed in.
Especially before you haven't even exchanged opinions with China, you have to just label China and coerce us. Is that the right attitude? Of course, China will not accept it.
Afterwards, both sides accused the other of violating protocols, with the Chinese diplomat saying the U.S. had been inhospitable. China had been looking to reset relations with the U.S. after they hit rock bottom under the Trump administration.
Yeah, they hit bottom rock kasi because si Trump ibinasura yung kanilang mga kalokohan na hindi pagbabayad ng mga taxes sa export in billions of dollars na ipinahinto ni Biden. Ano ang pinagpuputok ng butsin itong mga SOBs ng mga komunistang ito? You know, and then when it comes to racism, I've said this last week. There are over 14 million illegal aliens in the United States. 14 milyones ang illegal dito sa Amerika. Now, what the hell are they doing inside the United States? If the United States is a supreme, racist, whitist, KKK country. Why? Ano, kung ganun pala ang Amerika, why do they stay here in the United States? Kung racist pala ang Amerikano, mga puti. Chinese, they're all over the place. They have Chinatowns, they have this, they have beauty parlors, they have dry cleaning stores. God dog it, all the hypocrisy. When you see them here in New Jersey, they're happy. So these are all politics. America is not a racist country. I've said this before. If you want to be discriminated, it's you who is the problem, yung tao. Because you act like, hey, discriminate me because I'm stupid. Racism. I still yet to experience that. I've been here more than half 100 years. Since college, I enjoy being with the Caucasians, blacks, Spanish. Kalokohang malaki yan. Anyway, may time ngayon tayo. Ikaw ang tatanungin ko because this bothers my eyes. This is an eyesore itong report na ito. Rambo Labay. You are a veteran reporter. What is this? According to Senator Hontiveros, the report says, the racket which victimizes Filipinos who are sent to dangerous countries as servants or prostitutes is another iteration of the money-making scheme by the corrupt, of course there is an exception, immigration officers, including the pastillas scam. I don't know what that is, uncovered by the committee in 2020. At an online press briefing, the Senate Women and Children panel chair presented an audio recording of an account, what is this, by one of the women who was trafficked to Syria by an unscrupulous labor recruiter who paid off, binayaran, ang mga immigration officers sa Philippines. The woman identified her alias, maybe that's not her real name, Alice, and she detailed her ordeal in Damascus, in Syria, in an online call with the senator's staff, meaning Senator Hontiveros. She spoke in a hushed tone under a blanket to muffle her voice. Tinakpan yung telepono. She tried na to wrap some rag or something para hindi marinig yung boses niya. So that people outside her quarters would not hear kung ano ang pinag-uusapan. Alice said she was promised a job as a maid in Dubai for $400 a month, only to find herself in Syria working for a relative of a top government official for only half of that amount, $200 a month. She also said she was physically, quote and unquote, perhaps sexually abused by her employer. Ali said, alam niya na ang Immigration Commissioner Jaime Morente nagsalita na, said his office supported the senator's investigation, referring to Senator Risa Hontiveros, and would fully cooperate with it as we share a common goal of eliminating corruption in the Bureau of Immigration. Ano ba naman ito? Wala na bang katapusan itong kawalanghiyaan dyan?
Nako,
the
matagal.
Stupidity, the corruption. Of course, I always say there is an exception in the immigration ng Pilipinas. Rambo Labay. What can you add?
Ang madedagdag ko lang dyan, Don Lino Celle, no? Yung pastillas na binabanggit mo, ito yung ko yung matatandaan, Don Lino, yung mga nagpapalusot sa mga immigration, na binabalot yung pera, halagang 50,000 o mas mataas pa. Nagparang pastillas ibinabalot, yun ang kaya pastillas modus yung tinatawag sa kanila dahil doon ginagawa, binabalot at ibinibigay doon sa mga tiwali, mga korap na opisyal ng immigration. So bukod doon pala, no, natuklasan din ng kampo ni Senador Risa Hontiveros na hindi lang 'yon ang modus ng mga tiwali, yung korap, pati yung mga ginagawa nilang mga kababaihan, mga kababayan naming Pilipina, binibenta sa mga kakilala rin nila, pinapalusot, pinadadaan para kumita lamang yung mga limpak-limpak na pera. So meron na silang contact doon, Lino, no, doon sa ibang bansa. Kaya't madali nang maipaproseso yung ginagawa ng mga tiwaling immigration officials. Bukod doon sa kumikita pa sila doon sa mga, kung yung matatandaan doon, Lino, na talagang na karating na sa Senado yung investigasyon yung pastillas na yan, yun yung mga Chinese immigrant na pumupunta rito, mga nagbabakasyon, na pinapadaan sa kanila, may lagay sa pastillas. Kaya pastillas dahil binabalot yung pera na parang pastillas. Doon ang modus, yan ang modus na Don Lino. So lumutang ngayon doon sa pag-imbestiga ni Senador Risa Hontiveros, hindi lang pala pastillas, pati yung mga kababayan natin dito sa Pilipinas, mga Pilipina, ibinebentang kasambahay o katulong o maid sa ibang bansa na meron na silang kontak.
So they're trafficking the Filipino women overseas.
At binibenta nila doon dahil meron na silang mga kakontak din doon. So hindi na mahihirapan yung mga kababayan namin dito na Pilipina na hikahos sa buhay, na talagang kapit na sa patalim na sinasabi natin, wala nang magawa. Doon ang ginagawa nila, may kontak na yung tiwali, no? Sinasabi nating tiwali yan, ilan lang naman yan, tiwaling opisyal ng immigration, may kontak sila sa ibang bansa at doon nagkakaroon ng kumita na sila doon sa ibang pera sa ibang bansa, kumita pa sila dito sa ating mga kababayang Pilipina. Dalawa ang pinagkakakitaan nila doon, Dino.
So naglalagare.
Yan, naglalagare ang ginagawa nila. Ito yung mabuti na lamang at meron opisyal, immigration commissioner gaya ni Jaime Morente na sinusuportahan niya yung hakbangin ni Risa Hontiveros na dapat tuldukan na ito, dapat matigil na ito dahil ang pagkakaalam namin dito sa Pilipinas, yung gawain lang pastillas, yun ng mga Chinese, no, na pumupunta dito, ni-escortan nila, binibigyan sila ng pera. Bukod doon, meron pa silang sideline.
Well, you're right. It boils down to pera.
Yan, pera ang
lahat pera eh. Kasi kung walang pera, there is no kwalta, there is no dinero. There's no corruption.
Oh, tama.
That's the problem.
Yun ang
mucho dinero na, ayaw pang tumigil. Di naman ang hudas, you know. Etong mga reaksyon na Rambo. Meal agulay. Wala nang pagbabago ang immigration sa Pilipinas, Don Lino. Nakakahiya. It's a shame. Pero yan ang totoo. That's the reality. Walang kabusugan. Yun nga. Mucho dinero na. Ayaw pang stop.
Bundat na
They want more money, you know. They are insatiable. God dog it. Ed R. Boy Navarro, love of money is the root of all evil. Kaswapangan sa kwalta, sa dinero. That's right. Rene Cabuang, that is so sad. Selling your own Filipino women overseas. Marieta Uy, big disgrace. Karumal-dumal. Henon Junior Antonio, hindi na naubos-ubos ang mga dorobo. What the hell is dorobo,
Parang
Dorobo.
dorobo kasi yung
Japanese word.
Dorobo parang dito sa amin mandarambong. Ganon. Magnanakaw. Magnanakaw kasi dorobo yung Japanese magnanakaw. Magnanakaw.
Kasi nung araw daw hindi pa tayo pinanganganak. Kapag tinawag mong dorobo Japanese soldier, magagalit.
Magagalit yan. Magnanakaw ibig sabihin
dorobo.
yan. Oo, dorobo, magnanakaw.
That's right. Hindi maubos-ubos ang mga dorobo sa immigration na yan. Puro na lang imbestigahan. Ay, nako. Hari manawari magtagumpay. We wish Senator Risa Hontiveros to succeed on this, Hernan Morillo. Dapat bilibid prison agad. Stash them in jail. Yung sinasabi nito, ang mga suspected immigration officers hambang nililitis, birahin na raw. Mel Parvo, wow, Philippines, patutsada yun, That's not saying that he's happy. Because this is terrible, This is not funny. Selling our Filipino kababayans, women overseas. Prudence Aquino, most of the immigration counter employees, especially in Subic, oh my goodness, in Subic International Airport are corrupt. Make them resign. Yun ang sabi. Nakakahiya. Hindi mo masisisi itong mga reaction na pinapadala sa akin sa
ang daming reaction.
Text, sa messenger, So, it's our part of our protocol na rito. Anything they say, wag lang masyadong, derogatory. I will read it. And I have a file here. Kaya nakakaano yan? Nakaka-rimarim yan.
At saka
kawawa naman yung mga poor Filipino women na yan. Are they coming from Metro Manila or they're coming from outskirts? Provinces, Visayas, Mindanao. Where are they coming from, these Filipino women?
Karamihan doon, Lino, sa mga probinsya, katulad ng binanggit mo, Visayas, o kaya sa Mindanao, o kaya dito sa, halimbawa, sa bahagi ng norte. Karamihan yan, mga nasa probinsya na nilalako, no? Sabi nila parang kakanina ang babae, Women's Month pa naman ngayon, buwan ng mga kababaihan, ngayon buwan ng Marso. Kaya International Women's Day ngayon. Yun ang problema doon, Lino.
Pero alam mo, Rambo, may nag-comment dito na nakahawak na sa patali, meaning na they have no choice because they're so poor. Pero alam mo, I have a different point of view. Pag sinabing mahirap, unless the person is disabled. Look, alam mo ba yung mga iPad natin, iPhone, and all that na hinihipo natin yung salamin, you know, the touch screen? Pagka mag-iPad ka, di ba?
Oo.
Tutuldukin mo lang yung salamin, lalabas na yung information, ganon?
Oo.
Ang Apple Company, Amazon, Dell, you name it. Lahat yan, kumpanya na yan, bumibili noong mga salamin na yan. Ang naka-invento niyan, isang mahirap na Chinese. Her first name is Zhu. I think that's how you pronounce it. Z-H-O-U. Do you know how much her net worth? My goodness, close to $30 billion.
Wow.
Pero siya, her father passed away when she was 5 years old. So makabilang buhay ang tatay niya. 5 years old siya. followed by the mother. So she became an orphan. I think she sold many items in Hong Kong just to survive, some relatives help. Next thing you know, as the years go by, nakarating dito sa Amerika. Nakapag-aral dito. So, studied, I think she went to
Harvard.
Yale. She took a PhD in Georgetown University, I think. And now, she is one of the richest women in the world. What I'm saying, nanggaling siya sa ganon, na mahirap. Pero, hindi niya kinailangan na magpaalila.
Correct.
She didn't have to be a maid. So there are ways na ang mga mahihirap magkaroon lang sana ng drive. Ibig sabihin yung determination. But I understand the situation in the Philippines. We cannot discipline the people if the son of a bitches, pardon my friends, the corrupt in the government are not doing their job. What they do is just get the money, mucho dinero, they don't care about the citizens, so the citizens, they don't care. Kasi sabi nga, kung ikaw, nakikita mo yung magulang mo, your parientes, are not caring for you, why would you care?
Tama.
Di ba? Yun ang problema rin eh. Kaya sabihin, wag magtapon ng basura, wag magtapon ng ganon. Eh kung pwede lang nilang kanin yun dahil they need things to eat. I'm talking about the poorest of the poor in the Philippines, which are a lot. So sana yung mga, nagpapapogi dyan sa YouTube and all that nonsense, nakarating lang sa Singapore o I don't know, papatutsadahan yung mga Pilipino riyan.
Oo.
Doon sa Canada, doon sa, Singapore, magtapong ka ng upos ng sigarilyo, kulong ka. Talagang ikukulong. Dahil yung gobyerno, hindi pinababayaan ang kapakanan ng mga mamamayan. Yan ba ginagawa ng gobyerno? Mga multi-billionaires na mga corrupt na nasa gobyerno? Do they care about the poor? No. Absolutely not. So they don't care, the poor. They just lie there. They die on the streets.
Nagagamit ang mahihirap doon, Lino. Ginagamit nila sa sarili nilang interest.
Right. Huwag sanang ganun yung mga, alam mo, nasusuya ako sa ganun eh. Yung magpapatutsada kung nakarating ng overseas. Pagbalik dyan lalaitin yung mga mahihirap dyan. Ikukumpara nila yung mga mamamayan nung bansa na pinuntahan nila. How dare you? Whatever is the name of that SOB. Nagpa-interview sa isang reporter. I happen to receive a copy dahil pina-analyze sa akin kung ano yung pinagsasasatsat. Ganda ng Manila Bay! Ang sarap langhapin ng hangin! Nung araw wala. Mabaho! It stinks! That son of a bitch. Alam mo, minsan kapag yung kinakabag yung ulo, you know what I mean? Rambo?
Oo, tama.
Yung kahanginan?
Oo.
Ha?
Lumaki yung ulo. kung ano-ano na mga pinagsasabi doon, Lino.
Sa halip na
tumulong.
Ay nako, we can talk from here to eternity, but
kulang
we
talaga oras. Kulang
a
oras
little
natin.
bit over time. Anyway, Rambo, unless meron kang some additional news na pwedeng i-ano rito sa Amerika,
additional
go right ahead bago
Don
tayo
Linos.
magpaalam.
Bago ko ipabatid dyan sa Amerika, kung hindi pa nila alam, Don Lino, umabot na sa kulang-kulang 8,000, 7,999 na yung tinamaan ng COVID-19 dito sa Pilipinas. So hindi biro yan, kaya at least yung mga kamag-anak dyan na mga Pilipino, pagdasal nyo po, yun na talagang hindi na namin mapigilan kung paano itong sawata ng COVID-19. Pero kailangan pa rin na sumunod sa health protocol dito sa bansa. So yan lang masasabi ko na pinaka-importante yung kalusugan natin. No? Bakit ang kalusugan? Kung mahina ang kalusugan, hindi ka makapag-isip. Kung
Numero uno yan.
Kalusugan. Malakas yung buto mo, malakas yung pag-iisip mo. Dahil kung mahina ang buto mo, paano ka makakalakad? Kung mahina naman pag-iisip mo, paano ka makapagsalita ng tama? Paano ka makakapaggiya ng tama? Hindi naman sa pinatatamaan ko si Joe Biden, Pero ito, hindi ito pinatama. Diyan na, baka ma-misinterpret mo ako.
Pumanig sa airport.
Ma-misinterpret mo ako.
Hulog pa.
Hulog pa. Doon na, baka
we're not laughing at the President of the United States.
Hindi ko...
Rambo is just making some,
hindi naman. Hindi ko pinatatamaan si US President Joe Biden. Ang sinasabi ko, yung totoo lang. Kailangan natin magsabi ng totoo. Yeah. Okay. So yan, sa ngalan ni Lourdes Escaros. Sa ngalan ni Lourdes Escaros sa Don Lino, Celle, ako po si Rambo Labay. Pansamantala nagpapaalam sa Sapagkat Mahal Kita. God bless.
Pilipinas. Maraming salamat sa iyo, Rambo. We'll see you next week, guys. Back to you.
Oras sa Pilipinas at sa buong bansa. Alas 11. Alas 8, kanina ka pa kasi Rambo Alas 11:09 ng umaga.